Cheers to adulting.
I'm Ashley Barajas.
And I'm Abby Rosemarin.
Shit, you know what I forgot to do?
What?
There we go. Let's do full screen.
Oh, there we go.
Great. I'm Ashley Barajas.
And I am Abby Rosemarin.
And this is Cheers
to adulting.
What are you drinking?
So today, this is just a standard issue gin and tonic with a little squeeze of lime.
Oh, and I'm having a dirty gin martini with a couple dashes of bitters.
Nice.
Yeah.
It is. I think this is a gin kind of life, not even a gin kind of day or week or month or even your year. Clap, 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 clap. This is just a gin life now.
Gin life.
Right. So for those who've, especially those who are listening and not watching the video, things are a little bit different than usual right now. We are in our, what's that?
Faux show.
We are in our respective homes. We are socially distancing / isolating / quarantining because it is week 3 of essentially America being shut down.
Yeah. Or even like almost 4, because Courtney, she's been home for 4 weeks now.
Oh, wow. It's really crazy. And I know actually some states, they don't have stay-at-home orders yet. And some of them are kind of dragging their heels. Like, I mean, I know Florida just did a religious exemption for stay-at-home orders, which just doesn't make any sense because I'm sorry, viruses don't care that you worship a god.
Mm-hmm. You know, people are like, I'm just going to put all my trust in God and he'll take care of me. Do you think he wants that on his shoulders? Like, no. So you need to like do some work yourself and keep yourself protected because people are fucking idiots.
Right. All I can think of, and this has just been going on in my mind over and over, is that scene in The Stand, which both in the book and in the TV miniseries from the 90s. And for those who've never seen or read The Stand, that is when this super virus kills like 99% of the population. And there's a scene where the main characters open the doors to a church and the church is just filled with rotting corpses. And that is all I can think about when I hear about, yeah, right? Like I hear about the churches that are, you know, having their mega church services and people are shoulder to shoulder with everybody. And like, it blows my mind. I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, you know, I consider myself relatively religious as well. But I recognize that in this scenario, science is going to win out. Viruses will win out. I'm sorry. The prayers are not going to stop coronavirus.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out the filter background thing that people do. I wanted to do that because
that's right. So that's one of the wonderful things as we can play around with our Zoom meeting stuff is in some ways a pandemic like this happened at a good time. Like not in terms of, you know, the fact that America's in late stage capitalism and we don't really have a lot of safety nets. So a lot of us are scrambling. But we are in the age of technology where digital socializing and digital meetings is really at its peak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And it's funny because I've been telling people how like I've been prepared for this sort of moment socially because I have these 3 girls that I meet with fairly frequently. Like when there's a show going on that we're watching real time, like Outlander, new season is on. So there's a new episode every week. So every week we get together, quote unquote, and we Google chat video with each other. And then we all pull up the show and then we like count down to put it on together. And that's something we've been doing for, I don't know, maybe 2 years because we all used to do it in person. And now, you know, I live in New Hampshire now and someone still lives in Massachusetts. And then 2 of them moved to LA together. And now one stayed in LA and the other is in Pennsylvania. So, you know, we've been doing this sort of distant, you know, socializing already. So now I'm teaching my other friends. I prefer doing it like that. Like they have that Google Chrome extension of Netflix Party, but which I did it once, but the thing I don't like about it is you can only communicate via messaging, like texting within the group. And it's a little complicated if you want to put it on your TV, and I don't know where my cord is to connect the TV from my laptop to there. And I want to see people's faces. So it's like we're actually socializing.
Exactly. And I feel like that is a huge thing that I've been noticing. There's a huge difference between getting to text with somebody and actually seeing them face to face, even if it is just via a screen.
I'm going to let Fizzle in because she's going to bug the shit out of me. Come on, Fizzle. Come on. Come here. Oh my God. She's like, but Mommy, what are you playing without me?
It's really been amazing. The pets of people's lives now are kind of taking center stage. It reminds me of that meme. Exactly. Like if you're in the middle of a Zoom meeting and your cat jumps on your lap, don't shoo him away.
Don't apologize.
Yeah. Show us your cat. We want to see your cat. The world is burning and we're all slowly dying on the inside. Show us your fucking cat.
Oh, say hi, Fizzle. Hi. Oh, she's so pretty.
She is so pretty.
She's so spoiled. Both of them. Yeah. Well, her especially. She's kind of really displays to the world how annoying I can probably be for Michael because she's so needy. And she took on my personality that I need to be touched and I need physical affection. And that's Fizzle 100%.
Which, nothing's wrong with that, especially as a touch love language person myself. Nothing wrong with needing lots of touch.
It is when he won't. Sorry, I didn't cut you off.
No, sorry. I was just going to go into that kind of tangent that I feel like a lot of people right now who are love language touch people, that is their primary way of feeling connection and feeling love. They're struggling. I know I'm struggling. It is hard. I can't.
Sorry. Why do I look pale in comparison to you? I pale in comparison to you. But
you know what? I think it might be just the lighting. I have my shades drawn, and the shades are kind of a beigey color. So, and I'm basically right in front of those windows. So they're probably casting a little bit of a nice little.
You've got a nice glow to you, and I look pale as fuck.
Oh, it's all about the tricks with the lighting.
Why do it look so pale?
Hey, it's all good. First and foremost, who are we trying to impress?
True. Our YouTube viewers.
Yes, which hopefully, if they've watched this, if they're going to watch this one, they're going to probably have watched the other ones. And
so they've seen me a lot more unflattering.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say that you usually see my alabaster face going on, especially compared to your much more tan complexion. So sure. It's,
can we just remark on I'm wearing a sleeveless shirt. Mm-hmm.
Oh, what's up?
Yeah, because it's comfortable in here.
Nice.
All the better to show off my guns.
Oh, right.
Guns. Anyway, so I guess we should talk a little about what adulting we've done.
I guess so. So I'm definitely going to start this off by saying that right now, just existing, everybody gets an A+ in adulting. One of the memes that one of the memes I love the most right now, and I've been sending it out to a lot of people, is you do not need to be hyper productive during a fucking global pandemic. Honestly, if the only thing you're doing right now is not even getting out of bed, but waking up and just doing your best to get through the day, fucking A+ on your adulting, for real. When it comes to adulting over the last couple of weeks, I'd say it really is just kind of hanging on tight. So for those of you who've listened to this podcast or watched this podcast, know that my main job is as a freelance yoga instructor. And I, about 3 weeks ago, I watched everything kind of bottom out on me. Everyone's like, hey, we're going to pause classes for the immediate future. You know, we'll check back at the end of March. And I knew I'm like, I'm not going to get my classes back in April. Let's be real. I scrambled, and 2 of my clients have agreed to online alternatives. And so I kind of went to town on that, like trying to get used to this whole like filming a full class, which I've never done before. I've never filmed like hour-plus long classes. And actually, the big adulting today, this room that I am currently in is now my literal green room / home office, because before then I was just setting up my tripod in what is basically our kind of like family library-esque room. And it really wasn't really making any sense. That's kind of a thoroughfare area, a throughway.
Keep the cats away.
Oh yeah, like I've taken so many wonderful like screenshots as I'm editing, because like the cats are all up ons. My the students who are taking the classes enjoy it, so there's at least that. Like I've actually had emails from people being like, "Oh my goodness, your cat," and I'm like, yes,
more cats.
Exactly. The world is burning. Show me your cats. So that's really been the big thing. But you know what? Some days it's really hard to get my shit together. Some days I am in my PJs until lunch, and I don't want to, you know, do a home workout. I don't want to, you know, improve myself or do a side hustle or all these other bullshit things that I'm seeing a lot of, like, you know, that toxic positivity kicking in, like, oh, this is a great time to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, sometimes you just need to fucking exist while a global fucking pandemic happens.
100%.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, you know, for me, it's weird because I still have work every day. I still physically go there, and I still feel a huge sense of responsibility to do housework, I guess you could say. Like now I don't have the excuse of like me working a million side jobs or social appointments. However, I feel like I'm scheduling more social appointments with people, like video Skyping and whatever, because I don't know, it makes me feel good, and I'm such an extrovert, and not getting to like hang out with you, for example, and have our weekly or not bi-weekly, I guess,
or semi-weekly maybe,
or no, every other day, I guess, because sometimes we meet more than once is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I will say I'm very thankful that I do have, thankful, and I feel bad saying it because I know not everyone is in the same boat as me. I'm thankful that I have a partner to come home to. Oh, and some people are single right now and are in an apartment without any roommates or anything. So yeah, I'm very lucky.
True isolation.
But I have still like been slacking, you know, that I keep seeing those posts of like, don't feel like you have to do everything. However, a coping mechanism for me, like generally in life, and gives me a sense of control, is cleaning and organizing and whatever. Like I must have cleaned the sunroom floor at least 4 times in 1 week. Also because it was like really dirty, and because like Floof was sick. Great timing. And so when she feels bad, she pisses somewhere.
Oh boy.
And I couldn't find it. And like Michael doesn't smell it, but I'm way more sensitive and way more paranoid about my house smelling like cat, or let alone cat piss. So I'm like in full anxiety when I get home. I'm like, I can't have my house smelling like this. Thanks, Floof. So, yeah, but today I've been saving the weekends really to doing half and half of like having a mental break, because the woman I work for she has Fox News on all day, like since before this.
Oh boy.
And now she still has Fox News on all day, but all they're talking about all day is the pandemic. All day. So it's like I walk in the room where she is in the living room and it's on. So there's no escaping it.
Wow. And I mean, I never really shy away from being political. And I feel like, especially in light of the pandemic, I've gotten very political. I've gotten almost radical in my political views, but few things have given me rage, quite like the fact that Fox News was calling it a hoax right up until they couldn't call it a hoax. And then they tried to backtrack and be like, we never called it a hoax. And apparently the state of Washington.
The internet exists.
Right? Are you forgetting like everything?
Disappear.
Right? I'm sorry, this is not how it works. And apparently the state of Washington is already suing Fox News for calling it a hoax and all this stuff. And I think they should, because I think about the Alex Jones lawsuits when he was doing the whole like Sandy Hook was a conspiracy bullshit. Like you have a responsibility to your audience. And, it's reckless endangerment to take something that is clearly like, we should be taking this seriously. Mm-hmm. And you go, oh, no, it's a hoax. And on top of that, it's a Democrat hoax they're just trying to bring Trump down. Like,
or of not taking responsibility when you're wrong.
Yes. Like that's one of the things that's been more like the most infuriating is, trying to double down on like, oh, no, a la Trump, I've been calling it a pandemic since before anyone else. Like nobody, own up to it, own up to your shit.
Or calling it the Chinese virus.
Oh my goodness.
Like, yeah, you're the fucking president. You are putting Asian Americans in harm's way.
Exactly. And it's so funny because some people will talk about like, oh, we shouldn't be political. We shouldn't be this. I'm like, this is past politics at this point.
Yeah.
This is human decency. This is lives on the line. There's all this talk about like, Trump loves to say that he's a wartime president. He's a wartime president. Well, fucking act like one,
Yeah.
So that is my soapbox. I try to limit the amount of news, especially involving the president and his cabinets and what have you, because I get so angry. Like, how is this real life?
Yeah.
How is Jared? Yeah.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I was saying, how is Jared Kushner saying, oh, our reserve is for us, it's not for the states, when it's for the states.
We are the United States.
Where do you think it's supposed to go? Like Guam and DC? Like, fuck off.
Oh my God. Funny enough, now that like no one can go to a gym and I didn't have a gym membership to begin with, I have, excluding this week, hopefully I need to get the motivation to still do it today. My friend Christine has been, she started doing this thing called 7-Minute Workout. It's an app. It's, we're not getting sponsored, of course, always shameless.
We just do it for free, y'all.
Yeah, the company is called Down Dog, and they have different apps, and I guess it was paid apps. However, because of the pandemic, they're offering it free for everybody.
Nice.
Again, not being sponsored.
Yeah,
but when I get passionate about something, I will support the shit out of it. So they have 7-Minute Workout, which is great. I used to do a 7-minute workout like years ago, but this is like new and improved, and it changes up. Like if you want to do full body, if you want to do upper body, if you want to do a core workout, and it's only 7 minutes, and you can you put your different levels, and it'll say like level 1, you don't want to do burpees, or level 2, you're okay with doing burpees. What kind of music you want to do and whatever. And the thing is, it's only 7 minutes. So there is literally no excuse not to 7 minutes. And I am like, and it's 7 minutes, so it might not seem like whatever, but they did the science on it, and it's almost like a high intensity workout. And I'm like sweating, and the next day, like my whole body is sore. And I was pretty consistent. And my friend was like, okay, I'll nag y'all every day. And she was pretty good. And then she would lose steam on nagging us. And I kept doing it even without her nagging. And I would message our group chat, and I'm like, I did it. And I did it without you nagging me. Yeah, but I've kind of lost steam. on that, and I need to start doing it again because I was getting to a moment of not being so sore the next day, and that was really satisfying. Of it being like, oh, it's starting to feel like easy, which is, I'm like, oh wait, is it like this workout is not as hard as yesterday? But no, it's just I'm getting stronger. Mm-hmm. And push-ups are, well, on my knees. I know my limits right now. Knee push-ups, real push-ups. That whole push-up challenge, I was calling people out. I'm like, you're doing push-ups wrong.
And, you know, like the fitness instructor's got to totally jump in and say, like, you know, guys, especially if you're doing things like the push-up challenge, go to your level. Like, nothing has driven me more batty teaching any type of fitness class where I will see somebody do like a push-up or a chaturanga, which is essentially a tricep push-up for those who don't do yoga. And I'd watch them like basically like do the worm, like they don't hold their core. And I'm like, then put your knees down. And I would try to like really gently coax, like, okay, if we find our hips are falling, you know, to the ground, let's put our knees down. That's going to make it easier to hold our core.
You don't,
and then they fucking don't.
Ain't gotta be a hero. Ain't gotta be a hero.
Dude, like, you're going to ruin your low back. Stop that shit.
So yeah, I was on a pretty good roll on that. Today, some more adulting. Well, I guess it's just fortunately and unfortunately, no matter what time I go to bed, my body wakes me up like around the time I'm supposed to go to work. So like I woke up, well, I guess technically I woke up I would have been late to work. But I woke up at like 7:38 or 7:50. And, you know, I usually, my habit, I wake up, grab my phone, start scrolling on that social media.
Yeah. And the digital coffee.
Huh?
The digital coffee, I call that.
Yeah. And then eventually I was like, I'm just going to go back to sleep. And it took a while, but it did. And it was after like 10 o'clock. And it was that I had that feeling of like you slept too long, you know? But you're still like exhausted, and you're like, I could just like keep sleeping. But Michael was awake, and if Michael's awake, I have no excuse to like stay in bed. But I was like, I've got nothing going on. Well, I had like planned with you, and then later on, I'm gonna meet with my niece and watch Monty Python, and I forgot that there was a FaceTime call planned with like my family. It happened. I was doing laundry and my grandma was like, oops, I spilled. My grandma was like, Mija, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm folding laundry. You can't do that later. And I'm like, I'm multitasking. So whatever. I kept doing it. And I had a face mask on at the same time. Did the Azmat clay mask because my skin has been really bad lately. I'm not feeling it.
I don't know why. Like, would there be any like stress related reasons that our skin would not be like the dewy freshness that they could be?
Yeah, I don't know if it's because I recently got on Zoloft or sertraline, and I saw acne can be a side effect, which I was pretty nervous about. But it's not too, I don't know. It might be that, it might be stress. But all I can say is thank God I got on this before the pandemic. I can't imagine what I would be like if I hadn't got on it.
Yeah, that's a one huge thing to touch upon is that, you know, there's this, what I like to call the second wave of the COVID consequences, essentially the effects, because yes, you're going to have people who are sick and dying and it's going to overload our system. But then we have people who are stuck at home, and those who are stuck at home and suffering from severe anxiety, from severe depression,
or being unemployed, not having money, and the stress of that.
Exactly. And, you know, and to kind of branch off a little bit from there, this is something that's been weighing on my mind a lot. People who are in abusive homes, people who are dealing with domestic violence. I've been thinking a lot about children. Like, there's a lot of children whose only saving grace is that every day, Monday through Friday, they can leave that home and go to school and be surrounded by mandated reporters. And their parents know that they're surrounded by mandated reporters. And there's a really good chance there's a lot of children suffering from a lot of abuse that might not have been happening otherwise, because the parents would be like, oh, I can't leave marks because if their teacher sees it, they're going to report me.
Yeah.
So it's all that second wave stuff that I've really been thinking about. We're right now poised to lose as many as 300,000 people, and honestly, I think that number is going to go up because that's with strict social distancing, and a lot of states are not doing strict. So that is terrible. But I'm also thinking about that second wave, like all these people that are going to get affected.
I used to love going on. So like when the pandemic was like really coming into full force, I would try and share relevant news, but mostly share comedic memes and lighthearted stuff and funny shit to make people happy because everyone was stressed. And I got lots of like feedback from people commenting like, thank you, I needed this and whatever. But there definitely seems to be a lull now on Facebook because nothing's happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the only thing that's happening in the world right now is the pandemic, people being quarantined, and numbers. That's it, because no one can leave and no one should leave.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, we had the Lion King, we had the Tiger King for a little bit of time,
and
but that's
those memes are kind of slowing down. Those were like, I shared definitely a huge share of those memes and it was funny. Now I'm just kind of like bored of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I still find them funny.
But the Tiger King definitely had its time, and its time is already starting to pass.
Yeah. So it's just kind of underwhelming now going on Facebook. I do enjoy seeing, positive things, the whole like the clapping at 7 or whatever. And, people are sewing masks and I don't know. I guess I've become kind of numb now to it. I think it's a good thing. It's a good and not for me. I'm still going to work. The days are like the past, like Thursday and Friday was the most Wednesday through Friday were the most painful fucking days at work. They dragged so much and the days are going by so slow and I have nothing to look forward to really after that. Yeah. Fortunately, I'm scheduling things like, I think Wednesday or Thursday, I watched Conjuring 2 with Courtney. And that was really fun and just like planning those sort of things. But like this goes to show like where I am mentally right now, that Friday at work, it was dragging so much. Like all of us felt it. That we were just like, how is it not 1 o'clock yet?
Oh God.
And it was like, how is it still 1 o'clock? How is it still once it was like after 2, I was like, I'm fucking done. I did everything I was supposed to. Like, there's nothing really to do, and anything that we do, is almost kind of pointless because no one's coming to visit anymore. We have no upcoming parties. No one can come over for Easter. So I'm just kind of like, meh, I don't need to be here. So I decided I was going to go home early. 2:50 rolls around. I go to Mrs. M, as we'll call her. And I said, and I had already, checked with my coworker. I was like, do you mind if I leave? I'm just going to leave. I'm tired. So I said to her, do you mind if I leave early? And she was like, no, that's okay. Well, do you have something going on? I said, no, I'm tired. I want to take a nap. She was like, okay. I was like, I'll see you Sunday. I went to the store really quickly and then I came home and I lay down and I took a nap and it was glorious. I set my alarm because, I'm always nervous about, it's a weird thing. I'm always nervous that if I take a nap, because I don't do it often, that I'm going to like sleep for 3 hours. It's going to be 8 o'clock and then I'm awake.
Mhm.
like it doesn't fucking matter because I didn't need to wake up for any reason on Saturday today. But I set my alarm, and then like I heard Michael like come home, and I just laid in bed and I was like, oh, I was gonna try and do the Zoom Shabbat service, and at this point it was like 10 minutes till service, and I was like still laying in bed. I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do it. Whatever.
Well, I mean, that kind of touches upon the whole, it is like, I've been really appreciating that, the aerial gym that I go to, they've been doing online classes, they've been doing like strength and conditioning. And that has been very useful, but you don't have to go to everything. You don't have to go to every digital thing just because it's being offered. Like the same way we run out of our social batteries pre-pandemic, especially right now, there was this amazing set of memes that I saw about doing things like just being tired all the time. And it's like, well, that is a trauma response.
Yeah, exactly. I'm very appreciative of those sort of posts that have been shared of being like, if you want to just lay in bed all day, that's perfectly fine. Your body, your brain needs it.
Exactly. Like it's so hard to really grasp it because, for a lot of us, we've been living in this like surreal life since, basically 2016, where how is this real life? Holy shit, that happened. How is this real life? And, in some ways when this happened, we're like, oh, okay, here's this other like shit chapter in this crazy hellscape story. But we really do need to take a step back and go, no, your entire way of life just upended. There's this amazing article that I will, hopefully I can Google and like provide a link for, but the article says, what you're feeling right now is grief.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, we just watched something very important to us die. And, and that is on top of people who are, literally dying from this and the lives that are being affected that way. Our day-to-day lives are over, for now. And honestly, I see this ripple effect for years. Like, even if by some miracle by September, we can be back to normal, which I highly doubt.
Did you say by September?
By September. Honestly, I think that is a generous estimate that we will be back to normal by September. I honestly don't think that, a lot of stay-at-home orders are until mid-May. I don't see that getting lifted mid-May, honestly. I see that getting extended to June. And I don't see anything really changing because at the end of the day, we social distance, we flatten the curve, we go back to life or back to regular life, those numbers spike back up again. And then now we have to social distance again to flatten the curve. And I just see lather, rinse, repeat until we have a vaccine, which is just my prediction. We'll see, only time can tell on this one. But because of that, we watched our entire lives end. Going to the grocery store is stressful now. All I can think about are the things I'm touching. I go home and I'm immediately like decontaminating myself. I don't want to touch anything. And so it's like, yeah, what you're feeling is grief right now. Like more than that, especially for those of us, for those of us who are furloughed, for those of us who have no idea when our next paycheck's coming in, for those of us who still have jobs, but maybe we're working in the medical world and all of a sudden it's all hands on deck when beforehand, that wasn't what you were doing. It's okay to grieve and it's okay to be tired. It's okay to be depressed. It's okay to stay in bed all day. Let your body process, let your mind process. This was a huge global event. And a lot of us, I don't think has really grasped the magnitude of what just happened. Like the entire world stopped.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I saw at the other end, I saw a great I hate when someone shares something and I can't share it. Like usually like you can whoever originally shared it, you can go onto that and then share it. But when there's absolutely no way to share it, I get so pissed off. So there was this it was some sort of commercial or whatever. Someone created the video and it was they were creating their own video and then using some speech that some sort of military person was doing. I don't know. It was almost like a commencement speech or something. And they talked about how important it is to make your bed in the morning. And I was in bed and he was talking about how like it seemed silly when he was in the military or whatever, but it was coinciding with this video of this person definitely like in the quarantine sort of thing, that his house was a mess. He was just mentally drained and just, you know, like all of us, that we're just like, what's the fucking point?
Yeah.
And he like listened to the speech, and so he was like, you know what, all right, I'll start off my day making my bed. And then his bed was nice and clean, and he saw some laundry in the floor, and he started picking that up, and that just kind of spiraled. And he was like, well, I guess I'll pick up all this trash around the house and do the dishes. And then he was like, I guess I'll shave and get dressed even though I'm not leaving. And it was inspiring. I was like, you know what? I feel good. And I was like, it's about time to change my sheets. So I got up, I stripped the bed. I had a clean set of sheets. I did that. And then I did the pillows. And then I was like, well, you know what? I should grab the dirty laundry around here. I should put away this laundry. I should start a load. And it spiraled. Like I wasn't, well, and then the way my ADD works when it's unmedicated is I do lots of little things at the same time. And so, which usually means if it's on the weekend, I don't eat lunch for a while, or breakfast, I mean. So I had coffee and doing all these different things, and I didn't sit down for breakfast, quote unquote breakfast. It was really brunch at this point, until 12:30, almost 1. I hadn't eaten anything. I had coffee though. Coffee's breakfast. And I made like a really big breakfast, and like I took the time to like, I fried up some bacon, I heated up some leftovers, and then like for me, anything can be breakfast if you put an egg on it. So I fried up 2 eggs and I put it over the leftovers, and I had some bacon. And I like sat down and watched shows, and I started to like kind of wind down, I guess you could say. I'd be like, okay, you don't need to do everything. But yeah, making my bed, I mean, it seems arbitrary because I never make my bed. It's only like if I've cleaned recently, then I'm like, I'm going to make my bed. And then I feel like really adulty and like I have my shit together. So I don't do that often. But when I do, I feel so fucking accomplished. And yeah, if you're having trouble like finding routine in your day, or, you know, just setting a schedule, start with making your bed. You'd be surprised how good it feels.
Mm-hmm. And I've heard, you know, because again, you really do have to strike that balance between honoring the fact that, again, you know, we all went through this huge traumatic situation, and it's okay to, you know, give yourself that leniency, but also recognizing, you know, what safeguards can I put into place to avoid spiraling out? Yeah. Things like making your bed. I also heard
like if you need to sleep in till noon or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, do it, and then make your bed.
There we go. Another thing I heard was that once you have woken up and you're out of that bed, step into the shower, take a shower, change into something, like ideally change into day clothes, not just change back into other PJs.
Pajamas, yeah.
But if you are going to change into PJs, change into new PJs at least. Like give yourself that shift. So
I sleep naked, and I usually will transition into PJs. Or the PJs, so I'll be like in PJs at night, and then like get naked, get into bed, and then when I come out of bed, I'll put back on those PJs. But I was like, I'm gonna put on clothes. Let's all applause for me, I am wearing a bra right now. Thank you. Am I wearing a bra because I knew I was gonna be on video? Maybe. However, I sewed today, took up a little time, this bra that I bought from, I don't remember where, True & Co. or something, or it's very comfortable. However, because I have big titties, but I'm also kind of, maybe not right now, kind of small, smaller than the average bear, but with big titties, it's hard to find a bra that fits my boobs but not my rib cage. So this one, my boobs literally fall out the bottom.
Oh,
because it's like, very stretchy material, very comfortable. So I sewed the side to bring it in a little bit so it'd fall out less.
hey, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another thing too, is that little projects, like, maybe it is, let me reassemble this cabinet and the dishes, like, that, whatever it might be. Like, if there are little things that you feel like you are capable of doing, do them, but also don't push yourself. Don't feel like, okay, I didn't reorganize my cabinet, I'm a failure. Like, but if that's something that you feel like you can do, kind of dive into that. Little projects, honest to God, because of just where I am with my job and how I've been furloughed in literally everything. I'm going to kind of digress a little bit and say that yesterday, up until yesterday, I had one class, or technically two classes, but at one center still going, because they were considered a mental health service, so they were still an essential job. And I got the news yesterday that they want to limit all outside vendors. So unless you are full-time staff, you are they're kind of asking you to just no longer come in. So I'm no longer coming in. So that means
fun. So great.
Which, is a mixed blessing in and of itself, because while it was at a behavioral health unit, it was inside a hospital. So it was kind of like, okay, I'm in ground zero. This is high risk. So there was a mixed blessing there. But, because all of a sudden, like, okay, now I'm filming a few classes, but this is really it. I put down on my to-do list, Mod Podge the jigsaw puzzle.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
So for those who don't follow me on social media, I had posted the jigsaw puzzle that I was Mod Podging. And for those who don't know what Mod Podge is, that's basically, it's glue. I'm putting glue over it. And I said, I'm doing this for two reasons. One, because the picture is absolutely beautiful. And two, because this puzzle was fucking miserable and now it can't hurt anybody ever again.
I've been thinking about doing a puzzle. Although I'm just kind of like, I don't know, half-assing things. Like I was like, you know what? I'm going to write letters to people. I did two. I've only, the first one I didn't have to mail. Ben and Christine popped by and dropped off donuts. Like, very, like, I don't know, 20 feet. They're like, they put the donut box. And I was like, oh, while you're here, I don't have to mail it. And I placed it down, and it was so funny. It was so cute. I still haven't sent Courtney's letter, but I was like, I'm going to send snail mail to everybody. I sent two letters, and it's like not even like 8.5 by 11. It's much smaller than that. But I figured it's more like, as my friend said, it was like, she was like, nice prose. It was kind of like prose, because I was trying to write it like we were in, I don't know, 1870. Yeah, I was like, here I am sitting by the fire, smoking a pipe. It's been a fortnight since I seen you. There's a winter storm outside. Mom and Pa coming in the wagon.
My dearest Bartholomew.
Exactly. I'm trying to write like comedic, and yeah, and there's not much going on, so there's not too much to write about, and it's not like I don't talk to these people like all the time.
But still, it's a very nice way to kind of like reach out. I think that's a really big thing, because I think all of us are starved for connection.
Yeah.
Even those of us who consider ourselves, a little more introverted, a little more like reserved, we don't realize how much connection we're getting in our day-to-day lives until that's taken away. So whatever it takes, if it is like a silly letter that, both writing and getting it received, whatever it takes to kind of like create that little extra connection,
I think so. Especially after seeing guidelines and things that kill the virus, I think I've decided now that, I've got nothing to do. Maybe I'll bake some things and take it to people, because it kill anything you bake. It's if you microwave something, it's going to kill the virus. And I wasn't sure if I like made something, because they said don't share food or whatever. And for my Ben and Christine said that they would. I was like, if I bake something, we eat it, because it feels kind of anticlimactic for me, because I love cooking for people. And anything I make, like, for example, I made challah bread recently, but it's just me and Michael. Michael doesn't eat bread that often. I don't eat bread that often, but I wanted to make it. And it was delicious, by the way. Very proud. Don't mind if I pat myself in the back. I took it to work to share. And I told them I wanted to bake something, but I feel unmotivated now to bake it if I don't know anyone's enjoying it.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to start making visits and baking things.
Hey, there we go. Whatever it takes,
Mm-hmm.
I was actually thinking about that myself, because one of my loved ones is a birthday coming up, and I already have their presents. I was like, well, I'm going to completely miss their birthday because it's like this Thursday,
Yeah.
and we're in the midst of a pandemic. It's not going to fucking happen. But I think what I'm going to do is basically just drive up to their house and be like, I'm going to put these on the porch. I'm going to come home. And if you want to like wait a couple days because I technically touched the wrapping paper, totally cool. But then we'll just FaceTime when you open them. Like, again, whatever it takes to like create a little extra connection that isn't necessarily in person.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah. Happy anniversary. So it's been 2 years since our first episode, when we were gloriously drunk in a horribly named closet space. And
well, we'll just leave it disclosed. Well, the kidnapping room. We'll call it.
We'll call it the kidnapping room. So 2 years later, here we are. Now, could you have ever expected that in 2 years' time we would be, I'd like to think in 2 years' time we would have expected we'd still be doing this podcast, but doing it in the comfort of our own homes, far away from everybody, and in the middle of a global pandemic?
Definitely not. Fuck. I lost it. Sorry to listeners who shared of how you were coping. My bad. But yeah, I think there's not much to say. I mean, at this point, it's just, I don't want to say pointless or, I mean, we're all about adulting, right? And I feel like we shouldn't put too much pressure on people that's the whole point of this podcast, is talking about how you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be adulting all the time. Like, it's okay to fail. We're not perfect. I mean, I am. I'm definitely far from perfect. But yeah, it's just about like adulting is doing what you can. And if you run out of spoons, just wait. Take the time. Don't feel guilty about being in your pajamas all day. Also, maybe take the time to make yourself fancy just for you.
Exactly.
Don't feel vain if I'm going to do a little photo shoot and I'm going to post a selfie and be like, self-love, or, QuaranQueen, whatever. I curled my hair the other day for no fucking reason. All I'm seeing is, Mrs. M and my 2 coworkers, and that's it. But it made me feel good, and my hair was all bouncy, and I had curls, and it was great. And I colored my hair, and you can't really tell, and it was very underwhelming. But yeah, I think there was a point during all of this that I stopped putting on makeup, or I just put on mascara, and that was it. And finally I was like, you know what? Why should I stop? I never put on makeup for other people. Really, it just made me feel good about myself. Not like that I needed makeup. It's just like, for me, it's creative expression and altering your face and highlighting your face in certain ways. And it makes me feel good. So I went back to it. I don't wear lipstick as often as I used to. That definitely is a huge show of how I feel lately, that me I live for lipstick. I've not been wearing it. I've just been like, chapstick.
Yeah. Well, again, I think it all comes back to that, finding balance, because, I truly believe like some things you just got to do for you, like dress yourself up. Like there's been these awesome pictures of people who are attending like work meetings via Zoom, and they're like in their prom dress, or they're, dressing up like Tiger King or something. Like, they're just fucking doing it because, why not? And I think that is something that we're going to have to really navigate, is like, well, I'm going to do this for me. I'm going to do it not because someone else is going to see me and they're going to think I look good or whatever like that. I'm doing it for me, which doesn't even have to necessarily mean makeup if makeup's not your thing. Like, maybe
put on your fanciest outfit and no makeup.
Exactly. Put on a fancy outfit or learn a new dance, or, if you feel comfortable like doing an at-home exercise, do it not because like, oh, I can't be fat, I can't, gain weight during a global fucking pandemic. But no, I know it's going to feel good for me if I do this. So I'm going to do this.
And I'm really happy that a lot of people, like, for example, Casey Urban, who our flight attendant guest a while ago, she is a huge, you have a little schmutz. Oh, you got it. She's a huge promoter of body positivity and a huge advocate for eating disorder issues, of like, getting people to work through that. And she's been constantly posting about, just talking about not making too much jest of, oh, I'm going to be so fat after this and whatever. It's like, remember, we don't know everybody's stories. We don't know what everyone's issues are. And this might be a huge trigger for them. At the same time, yes, we have to laugh about it. And yes, but also be mindful at the same time.
Yeah.
But if it's something that triggers you, just remember it is okay to gain weight. It's okay to not be working out every day, because I know a lot of people that need to go to the gym and it's a really hard time for them. But if you can, designate a spot of your house as your workout area. If you can, like, video chat with someone while you do a little home workout. There's so many things. Obviously, the biggest person to ask about all of this is Abby.
Hey.
If you have any questions, hit her DM up. Abby is offering yoga classes and stuff, donate, she's got to make her money.
Yeah. So for those who don't follow me on YouTube, it's youtube.com/Abby Rose Yoga. I have been recording and posting various classes, again, all free, but I do put some of the videos. I'll put like a PayPal donation link in the description. And
if I don't remember, definitely, like, Abby is doing I support this, and Abby will, well, if you don't, you should just do it. It's on behalf of both of us. Post on our check on our Instagram page or Facebook page a link so where you can support Abby, because Abby got to get paid, because we have to do this podcast. Abby's got to make some money and pay them bills. So I want to take. She, fortunately, I was able to do a one-on-one class with her and pay Abby. I was like, hey, can you come in person? And I can pay you to do a one-on-one class. And it was awesome, wonderful. So you'd be very lucky to be able to take a class with Abby.
Oh, thank you. And so, yep, I am available for Skype one-on-one classes or Zoom one-on-one classes or even Zoom group classes. I've been lucky and been able to teach a few Skype sessions, a few Zoom classes, and, and again, so I kind of want to swing back to, there was this amazing set of memes I saw, and they were just repeating sentences that filled up the entire meme or the entire graphic that was like, you do not have to work out extra during this time. You do not have to apologize for the snacks you're eating during quarantine. You do not have to apologize. Say what?
Eat them snacks.
Eat them snacks. Treat yourself. Again, the world is burning. Show us your cats and also eat your treats.
Yeah.
Don't feel, at least work towards not feeling bad that you're gaining weight. Again,
there's a reason it's called comfort food.
Exactly. Like, if anything, we are in desperate need of comfort. And, it is going to be tough. And kind of swinging back to that second wave of people who are going to get affected and affected negatively, it is okay if you are struggling. It is okay if you've had an eating disorder of whatever nature and you feel like you're slipping in one way or the other. There is online help. Please reach out. Please find those people. If you feel like just the body dysmorphia is warping your world, and the fact that you are gaining weight or even losing weight during this time is kind of really having a rough go on your psyche, please reach out. There are resources available.
My thing, because I definitely am lucky that I have more self-control than Michael, that I don't want to say a sweet tooth because I really like salty too. I just like food. I love food. And I've definitely gained weight lately. And I mean, I'm at that age, it's just what it is. However, I know that just being fortunate enough to being exposed to certain people and their relationship with food and whatever, and I like to be healthy. And for me, I like food, and I've had lots of different relationships with it. And I've learned that it's best for me to let myself indulge, and then indulge in healthy ways. So for example, I'll let myself have, I don't know, like 3 or 4 cookies. And then obviously, like, I could definitely eat way more than that. I'll indulge in pigging out on like a shit ton of carrots and hummus and Trader Joe's chili crunch oil, and just like and I'll be full on that because hummus has a lot of protein, and for me it's satisfying instead of like just eating like pigging out on celery. I'm not gonna like be feeling full on celery. Like, put some fucking hummus in there. I'm not counting calories on this shit,
All right.
Like, what do I know that's going to make me feel satisfied? What am I going to enjoy eating? And if that's not your thing, because people are picky eaters, find something you enjoy that's going to make you full faster if you have to. But, like, don't overthink it. Just do what makes you feel good.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing right now, is recognizing that, hey, we're all just trying to get through, day-to-day stuff. It is okay to recognize, like, hey, we're all just getting through the next 24 hours. What can I do that's going to make me feel good? What can I do to feel supported? What can I do that it makes me feel like I'm helping myself in some way? And maybe that's the best way to think of it. What ways can I help myself? Maybe today that means watching some Netflix, taking it easy, staying in a little blanket burrito. Some days that helping yourself is, I'm going to go for a run around the block. I'm going to do this 7-minute workout. Maybe helping yourself is eating some treat within moderation, or even
fruit
what was that?
Fruit roll-up. Gushers.
Exactly. Have yourself a fucking like Capri Sun, man. Like, how can you help yourself get through the next 24 hours? And I touched a little bit on those who are going to be struggling with their sobriety potentially during this time.
Yeah.
But one of the things that they use to help with their sobriety is something that we can use to help with this just life, is one day at a time.
Yeah.
I can't think about, okay, well, what's May going to be like? What's April going to be like? What's the body count going to be like in April? Like, I'm seeing the news, I'm seeing the projected numbers. It can freak you out. Well, no, okay, let me take it back. What is today? What can I do today? And what can I do today to help me?
And for like drinking, for example, for me, it's like, I like to drink, obviously, if you've listened to this podcast. But I also like not to wake up with a hangover, so I'm never drinking that much. Also, I've been on a health kick recently of trying to be conscious. I'm not counting calories, but I know I'm being conscientious of the amount, what I'm intaking, of like, okay, if I'm going to drink, I'm going to make sure that, like, I'd rather eat cookies and have like a low calorie alcoholic beverage. So like picking and choosing my battles. Also, like, so I like at the beginning of all of this, I bought a huge thing of tequila and a huge thing of gin because I want to make sure that I don't have to go to the store that much. And take it if you're dealing with sobriety. Well, I mean, obviously, if you're dealing with sobriety, you don't want to be going out and spending money or buying, alcohol. But just remember that if you are going to go get alcohol, you have to go out in public and you're taking a risk. Anytime you go into the store, you're taking a risk.
Yeah.
So it's like, who are you taking that risk for? Who are you risking? What are you risking?
Yeah.
Is it worth it?
And I mean, that is a huge thing to also always keep in mind. Like every time you step out of your door, and I know how tough that is mentally to think about this, but it is something we have to think about. When I'm going to the grocery store, I got to recognize I'm putting myself at risk. Actually, somebody I know, I wouldn't say so much of a friend, but an acquaintance on Facebook, she actually got coronavirus and tested positive, and she had been social distancing. She was working from home. Literally the only thing she had been doing for the last month was the grocery store.
What?
So that's where they think she got it, was she somehow picked it up while at the grocery store. And that's something we have to really keep in mind. Now, I've been seeing a lot of people, especially, we live in New Hampshire. There's a lot of cool hiking trails. There's cool lakes. There's this, there's that. When I've been driving by, whether I'm just going on a drive because I am going stir crazy, or when I was still going to the medical center, I would see these cars just lining up the road to go to the trailhead of whatever, like nature trail. And all I could think is like, you're not social distancing as well as you think you are.
Yeah.
If, you're in this packed area with the cars literally bumper to bumper down the road parked. And you got to think about that. You have to think, well, is it worth this risk? I can't guarantee that I'm going to stay 6 feet from people, or that I'm not going to accidentally.
If you are 6 or 10 feet, like their breath, their wet particles are going to be lingering in the air for enough time for you to walk through it.
Exactly. If you had a, runner huffing and puffing as they walk by you, you might have given them 10 feet of space or whatever. There's no guarantee that you're not going to catch something. But yeah, we have to think about that. We have to think, what is it worth this risk?
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, we have to remember this is temporary. I think that's probably the biggest thing to remember is
it's temporary.
It's scary. We don't know when that end date is. And I think that's the hardest part for a lot of us, is we don't know if this ends in May or September, or if it's the full 18 months, like the Spanish flu was in 1918. That was a 2-year thing. And that can be really scary. Like, I don't know the end of this. We don't know the end of it. Mm-hmm. But we have to remember this is temporary, and maybe life won't go completely back to normal. But as I always like to say, there is no such thing as normal. Normal is always going to change. There's always things happen and our normal gets shifted. Oh, could you repeat that?
A new normal.
Exactly. A new normal. And we can grieve that. We can grieve the normal we were used to, and it's not going to go back. But this quarantining, this staying in our homes, this is temporary. Eventually, we're going to be able to see people again. It might be a while until we can go to concerts and events and things like that. But, in due time, we're going to be able to see people again. And we got to remember that.
We will. I think, as horrible this situation is, so many people have died. It's tragic. It's sad. We're going to come out stronger. Mm-hmm. And we are going to be more resilient because of this. And we know that what we can deal with. If we can get through this, we can get through anything.
Exactly. And I think this is really showing people what is important. A lot of people have pointed out, like, the way we've been kind of going about life doesn't feel very sustainable, but we're just going to keep going because the easiest way forward is to just keep doing what we're doing. And I feel like this is teaching people, like, this is what's important. This is what is less important. And I think, I hope and I pray that we can do a lot of good with that information that we're getting from this, that we can emerge from this and go, well, no, this is what we need to do to be a better society. This is what we need to do to be better people. this global pandemic and watching so many things bottom out because of it, hopefully was our lesson to learn. So now we can be a better community.
Yes, absolutely. And then on that note, before we say goodbye, obviously I would like to give a shout out to all the first responders out there, to the nurses, to the people that are cleaning the hospitals, to the receptionists at the hospitals, and cops, and I mean EMTs, grocery store workers, people working at CVS, people who still have to go to work and taking that chance. I can't really speak for myself because I'm working from someone else's home, so I feel like I'm not putting myself that much at risk. My friend Veronica, she is, working at a hospital every day, and she has a baby, and that's huge for her to take that risk every day. And I really appreciate her still doing that. And she has such a good positive attitude, because I keep checking and she's like, I'm fine. But her hospital hasn't seen the brunt of it yet. And I think I saw a statistic recently that it showed the timeline of when the peak is, and New Hampshire's not going to see the peak till May. So, yeah.
Which again, I also want to echo that for every medical employee, for every nurse, every doctor, every EMT, every first responder, every police officer who, every time they have to interact with the public, they've put themselves at risk. And I remember seeing the statistics about the New York City cops and how many of them are sick already, the firefighters.
NYPD.
Yeah, it's honestly my undying respect. When they talk about essential workers, right now we're really seeing what is essential, and those who are there trying to save our lives, trying to protect us, trying to put food on our tables. Again, those grocery store workers,
or the grocery store workers and fast food workers that don't have a choice.
Yeah. And
they have to go in whether they want to or not, because that's their job, and they don't, especially right now, they can't find another job.
Exactly. And, this is going to, obviously I never shy away from being political, but I hope this is helping people recognize that these are people who deserve a living wage. This, I don't care if there's quote unquote no skill in stocking a shelf. It is vital that those shelves get stocked.
You want to stock a shelf right now instead of working in the comfort of your home?
Exactly. I'm sorry, but so many people are relying on those who are working. I will watch, even from the, my small town grocery store, watching people stocking those shelves in ways and in frequencies I have never seen before. And it's purely to keep food on the shelves for people to have.
Not to mention having to be do you have this? And they're like, no, we're in a pandemic. What do you think?
Exactly. So it's again, that's one of those positive things that I hope that when everything is said and done and we're able to return to some type of normal, we can remember and recognize how important those medical staffers are, recognize how important those grocery store people are. Ideally now maybe we can get EMTs to make more than $15 an hour, have those grocery store people make more than minimum wage, recognize that these are the jobs that are important, and these are the jobs that are vital, especially in times like this.
Absolutely. I love you. I miss you.
I love you too.
So to take a page from Isaac, your husband, when I see everybody, I'm going to make out with you.
I'm going to make out with everybody for a solid 45 minutes.
I miss you so much. I don't care who you are. All of my friends, I'm going to make out with you because I miss you so much. Hug is not enough.
We got to make up for lost time on this show.
I have to make up for lost time. On that note, I've got to pee, and I feel like I have to get back to. I don't, but I feel that pulse of sensation of need to do more adulty things.
Hey, let's do some adulty things.
Push laundry. Check us out. You can watch this on YouTube. It'll be highly entertaining. Our Facebook, Cheers to Adulting. Instagram, Cheers to Adulting Podcast. Our email,
cheers to adulting at gmail.com.
Our Twitter, which I was good for a while, but I kind of
Twitter's a tough one.
Yeah.
Twitter is rough.
Here's number 2, adulting. Yeah, I have no problem if you want to hit up my DMs, if you need to talk or anything, if you want to suggest a podcast subject for the next episode, please hit us up. Anything. Yeah.
Exactly.
Stay
and
safe.
Don't forget youtube.com/Abby Rose Yoga for some yoga.
Yes, please, please, please. You'll highly enjoy it. Stay safe.
Yes.
Practice safe distancing. 6 feet is not enough. It's also, there's not enough data. If you're going to do 6 feet, do it outside.
Right.
But
stay home, stay home, stay home, stay home. Wash your hands. Be mindful of when you're touching your face. Ideally, stop touching your face.
Lotion your hands.
There we go.
Lotion your hands.
Lotion. It puts the lotion on its skin.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
To adulting.
Cheers to adulting.